what my show is about. For those that don't know, I've been doing this little project of mine for a few months now, but I've been inactive recently because I've been busy with school and that, but I'm not feeling that well, so I'm going to spend my free time doing this. So if my voice cracks a bit, I don't know. It's probably because of my throat. It hurts a lot. But anyways, today I'm going to be discussing what the show really is about and how I'm going to go into depth into the characters. I'm going to go into depth into the main cast today, and then we'll go into the side cast when I get the chance. I do have to mention though, this is just a little project of mine. I'm not actually going to make a pilot since animation takes a long time, and I only have flip equipment. I don't know how to work out any other professional animation studios, so I'm just going to have to stick with telling you about it. But anyways, we're going to get into the first character of today. Strawberry, the first person we're covering in the little corner of my little video, is our main demon little protagonist. How adorable could a little demon could she be? Well, now about her, she's sweet and kind and that. She's sweet, but she's a demon. Well, she's complicated to say the least. She has a very greedy streak. She can hoard stuff and do all this, that, which is pretty greediest of her. And now I'm just making up words. Greediest. Anyways. Now you can't deny she has a cute design, you know. She's adorable. She's little seen, she's got those sideburns, cute little wings, cute little face. But let me tell you, that's just a cover-up for her true form. Because let's just say whenever she shows her true form, people get scared of her easily. It's very demonic. And one day when she was in middle school, she got beaten up. A lot of her best friend B, who we'll get into, which gets her whole paranoid about her appearance, and then she covers it up with a real cute one. And if anyone sees it, she'll chicken out and go insane. But the truth is that she's always been self-conscious about herself, you know? She's always been insecure and it's always just never seen the beauty of her, you know? And even throughout the show, the project, she's actually a gorgeous queen. She has to stop being self-conscious. Well, okay, not like that, but you get what I mean. But I'm going to show her true form in 3, 2, 1. Wait, this is older art. Let me get out some concept art. Yeah, that's a concept art of her being scared of what people would think until people stop looking at her. But her character's message, gives it a powerful message at no matter what people think of you or what they want to say about you, is that you're beautiful just the way you are. You're a queen no matter what, or king or fin, or ruler. But so, on to the next character. I mean, I didn't really cover enough of her, but we are finally getting into Rainbow. Rainbow's going to be a really big focus. He's one of the main characters. And whenever I show my friends him, they all oh my god, he's a cutie, I want to pet him. So we're going to go into depth into him today. Despite the fact he wears dresses, despite the fact that he looks like a girl, he's not actually a girl, he's a guy. But he mostly dresses like that because he just prefers it in general. He just prefers dressing in dresses in general, and I support that. And so on to Rainbow, he's a dog, but he's also a god. He's also very powerful, but not just powerful. He's the most powerful being in the universe. He's been existing since before time itself. But before you call me out for making him this all-powerful, most powerful, overpowered ass OC, please just let me go into depth into him. And this will take a long time since he's the character I did the most writing on. So he actually is quite a sweetheart. He's usually really nice and is really happy in that, if you don't get into his bad side, of course. But if you do get into his bad side of such as body shaming him, because he's very insecure about that, he'll basically end up killing you. or I don't know, punishing you for that. But a bit more about Rainbow is how much he cares about his friends and family, even though most of his family have died, because he's immortal, which makes him like really possessive, which makes him care a lot about his friends, his closer friends, especially the weather gods, who we'll get into in another video, because they're more of like side characters, but they're all really interesting when I get into them soon. So, and like other than like his insecurities and everything else, Rainbow's really kind, and he's always happy in that. He's always happy to make friends, and that he's very outgoing, and he's like, you know, your typical happy person, you know. Unless you get into his bad side, of course. So we're now gonna get onto our other character. We now get on to B, who we also see on the thumbnail with Strawberry. She's the other demon, and the reason why I added her and Strawberry together is because they're frenemies or ex-besties, if you want to call it like that. Well, not so fun fact about B is how like they were both in the same instant in middle school because she actually got beaten up along with Strawberry too, because again they were friends and that. And like her true form's just as scary, but I'm still designing that form at the moment, even though she's one of my first OCs from 2023. Fun fact, Strawberry and her were my first OCs from 2023, and they were originally Sam Wheel OCs. But we'll get onto that later, because we're talking about B. This is about her. So, she's like, unlike Strawberry, who has like this same persona, girly like, she's quite literally her tomboyish opposite side, okay, my voice, sorry, she's quite literally the opposite. She'll wear baggy stuff. Strawberry prefers showing off, but she doesn't. She's more of like an angsty, like, still like Strawberry's best friend. Well, that was until they got to a fallout about something. I don't know. Which is still unknown. It had to do with something because, what was I going to say? Sorry about that. That was my fault. But as I was going to say, it had to do with something about Bobby's ear, like wings, because they're paralyzed. They got injured in the fight, and they got paralyzed for good. She's never able to fly again, so it led to some sort of fallout to do with that, definitely. And it led to them falling out, and that's where they have this fight, and that's when we get introduced with Rainbow. But there's a lot more to Bobby's character, because when you see her, she's always toff, but even though she really isn't. When we see flashbacks with her and Strawberry, which I'll show soon, we can see that she's a lot more softer around her than anyone else she knows. And, she's a bit more vulnerable when she used to be closer with Strawberry. But I'm not going to spoil any more there. But knowing that I think I have a bit more time, I might do a little special. Now, I shouldn't even be showing these two yet, but boo-hoo. Now, as you see in the image, there was Sakura, who's the little bunny jester, and then the demon puppy is Ribbons. But do you recognize anything about Ribbons? Yes, you had me that. That's Rainbow and Strawberry's magical daughter that appears out of nowhere. I can't believe I just spoiled that, but she's a cute. I gotta include her in, okay? So, going into a little depth. We're going to go into more depth about Sakura though, because we're not spoiling anything yet, even though I am going to spoil stuff. So about Ribbons, in the show, Rainbow and Strawberry do fall in love, but the thing is, Strawberry doesn't become pregnant. In fact, right after they decide they start dating, Ribbons and Sakura appear out of nowhere. Sakura appears first saying that she has their daughter, which puzzles them and shocks them at first because the Ribbons looks incredibly identical to them and knows basically everything about them. But there's a much deeper secret. She is supposed to be the biological daughter, but there's a bit more to that. Where did they come from? Where did they come from? And I'm not feeling that yet. I'm not going to answer that question yet. But I'll get more into them soon. Very soon. But for now, I've introduced you to some of the main characters. We'll get into side characters soon because they're also just as interesting. So I've introduced you to Rainbow, Strawberry, Bobby, Ribbons, and Sakura, who I should have known. And
hey, what about me?
No, wait, Cosmo, you're not meant to appear yet. Wait, no.